Hello, this is for anybody that has traumatic brain injury and how to prevent anything further from happening. Somewhat, I can't say all the way around this is the way to prevent everything, but this is a way to prevent a lot of the drugs you have to take, or just not take them at all if they don't work. Like I got gabapentin and Zoloft and something else, and none of them worked. The only thing that worked and the only thing my pain doctor would give me, and my neurologist flat out said, Dr. Rishi flat out said that cannabis is the way to go. Just for anything to happen to do with a TBI, traumatic brain injury, because you got cannabinoids inside your brain, and if you actually look into it, that is the ultimate way of healing your brain all the way around, is the cannabinoids inside your brain. And then I hear you people already tell me that this, that, and the other about cannabis, saying that it's not a medicine, it's a drug. But to those people I say, fuck you, you really need to look into it before you start talking to me about it, because I straight up spent over 6 months looking into it before I got my medical card, because my pain doctor wouldn't give me nothing for the pain, because they're really on the edge about everything. Like painkillers, they can't prescribe those to people, or else my wife with her arthritis in her back would already gotten Percocet and Oxycontin and everything else besides that. And that's the whole reason why I'm making this video, is trying to debunk the criticism. It's just the sign of the times changing. It's not the 70s no more. You're not being frowned upon for smoking a little bit of pot, and you're definitely not getting frowned upon nowadays for doing so. I know back in the 70s, everybody decided to go out to the rain and talk shit about people. All it's even happening nowadays to certain people. But with that being said, if you look into it and actually look hard, my doctor, Dr. Bibishi, flat out said that it could help me out greatly. And also, another thing, it'll take off like a massive amount of drugs that you have to take. Like, I have 4 pills that I'm supposed to take, and now I don't take a single one, which kills your liver in the long run. If you actually look into it, a lot of the things the doctor gives you kills your liver, and they actually give a lot of drugs to people that are on chemo and whatnot. The only way you can reverse the side effects of feeling nauseous and throwing up all the time is cannabis. And yeah, I know how I sound, this, that, and the other, but I really don't care that much, because I honestly believe that if you actually try to use it and you actually try to get better instead of abusing it, like some people I know, they abuse the shit out of it. And they would abuse a lot of things other than cannabis if they got it prescribed to them. And all I gotta say is you gotta actually cannabinoids inside your brain that are activated when you smoke THC, and that you can literally be put into a coma because you didn't get enough sleep at night. Only because you mainly heal your brain when you're asleep. And I also have ADD and ADHD on top of that, so I get prescribed Ritalin which is all way around no good. It's like essentially crack. If you really think about it, they have the same components inside of it, just one difference inside the component inside the Ritalin, which is no good. That's my personal opinion on the whole matter. And if you're taking massive amounts of gabapentin and it doesn't help you out at all, there's no reason to take it. I see. From my standpoint, there's no reason to take it because if it doesn't help, it doesn't help. And I'm not a person that'll sit around and bitch and complain about how much pain I'm in all the time. But with that being said, I can tell you right now that it's the only thing that'll help with your traumatic brain injury, other than the gabapentin and everything else the doctor gives you. If it doesn't work, then you actually go out of your way and get a medical card and look at people and tell them fuck you for telling you otherwise, when actually it helps you out in the long run. I know how it is, I really do, because I got my very first traumatic brain injury last year. March 18th was my year date, or my date. March 18th of 2021 was my year date, or 2022 was my year date. And if you actually look into it, you actually have a lot of positive behind the whole thing I'm talking about right now. But I know how it is. I really do. When it's the sign of the times changing, and a lot of people are stuck in the past about everything else. It gets annoying and old really fast. Like, it doesn't take very long to hear that it's no good for you to before you get pissed off. And all you can do realistically is show them the proof that I'm trying to tell you right now. And all you gotta do is a little bit of research, a little bit. That's all I'm telling you is that you just need a little bit of research behind the whole thing. And that's how you prevent a lot of people telling you this, that, and the other, and trying to get you to take over-the-counter drugs that are no good for you, which will kill your liver. Unless you're wanting to kill your liver, then by all means do so. But I'm not one to drink at all. Hell, even when my wife used to drink alcohol all the time, I got on her because I didn't like it. I didn't want to be with somebody that would die shortly after I did, or shortly before I did, because that's BS all the way around, because it kills your liver essentially, and the only way you can prevent that from happening is not taking anything like that. No alcohol, no drugs, like over-the-counter pills, which will kill your liver in the long run. And I still haven't to this day met somebody that said I'm addicted to marijuana, that I'm gonna die from smoking too much pot. To this day, there's been 0 deaths due to that. And it doesn't take long to research that one. I can't even count how many times I've heard somebody die because they got a prescription from the doctor and they just took one too many. That's it, just one. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Why would a doctor prescribe something that kills people if you just take one over the amount that you're gonna take, that you're supposed to take? And on top of that, they actually prescribed Oxycontin a lot of people a long time ago, because Oxycontin was a non-addictive drug, supposedly, which to find out in the 90s and late 80s they actually found out that it's actually the opposite effect. That does really, uh, that it's really addictive, like unbelievably addictive, and everything else. And the only way you can't get addicted to anything like that is not just by not taking them. And my number one thing is that, and the number one thing I personally believe in is that you got a cannabinoid inside your brain, which actually heal your brain if you use the right cannabinoids. So if you use the right amount of THC, it'll heal your brain while you're sleeping. And sleeping is the number one thing you could possibly do, believe it or not. So if you're sleeping like a rock for 3 days straight, it's okay. Now if you're sleeping a lot less than 3 days straight, less than 6 hours of sleep, or not getting any sleep at all, I would be worried about it, because the only way you can really sleep and heal your brain is by sleeping. And that's number one thing is sleep. Because they literally can put you in a coma for a month, 6 months to a month, depending on where you're at and where your brain is at, how effective your brain is still. And they'll notice if you have any changes inside your brain. Just like with me, the right side of my brain got the most damage, I guess, supposedly from the doctor. But hey, that's the person that gets me all of my drugs, so I really don't understand where they are coming from, because they're essentially killing me in the first place. Why would they tell me that when they're essentially killing me in the first place? But hey, I guess they gotta do what they gotta do. They gotta do what's right. At least in my opinion, they're trying to do their best they can with what they got.